We're live in Phoenix, Arizona, where the America Project is actually right now filing their lawsuit, first lawsuit of its kind against the federal government for dereliction of duty on behalf of the property owners along the border. We're going to listen in to the press conference as it begins.
My name is Tom Homan. I'm here with the America Project. You've heard me say it many times last year, as this administration has been lawless in the security of our southern border. Not only are they ignoring the law, they're actually violating the law. With the record of immigration on the border that has overwhelmed the Border Patrol to 80% are off the line processing people rather than securing our border. Over 1,400 migrants have died on U.S. soil, a record. Over 100,000 Americans have died from fentanyl overdoses of a drug that's coming across an open border. The administration arrested 114 known and suspected terrorists trying to sneak in this country. They got over 1 million gotaways, known gotaways. How many of them are known suspected terrorists? How many of them are carrying fentanyl? How many of them are gang members? But we're here today to talk about landowners who have taken millions of dollars in losses across the southwest border. Fences torn up, replacing fences every day. Their homes broken into, cars stolen, cattle missing, finding dead bodies on their property every day. Well, they've had enough. Tappers represented them and filed a lawsuit suing this administration, and I'm proud to be a part of it.
So the lawsuit that we filed today has 2 counts. It's a complaint for declaratory judgment and a writ of mandamus. What we have sued the Biden administration for is to 1, secure our border, and 2, screen the migrants. So the first part, count 1, is a complaint for declaratory judgment. And what we're asking the court to do is to make a determination, a declaration, whether the Biden administration has to follow federal law. Federal law requires the United States to secure its southern border, all of its borders. It's not happening. We have witnesses to that effect. And the Biden administration is supposed to screen the migrants to make sure that we won't have terrorists coming in, weapons, drugs, you name it. That is not happening. We have witnesses to that effect. So after the court makes a declaration of whether the Biden administration has to follow the law, then we're asking for a writ of mandamus. The writ of mandamus is a court order that compels a government official to discharge a duty that is owed by law. In other words, do your job.
I'm here on behalf of not only concerned, but suffering Arizonans who right now they're paying the price for an administration that has decided to side with not just non-citizens, but cartels. They've decided to side with cartels instead of helping and protecting what government is supposed to be doing, protecting our citizens. We have people all over Arizona at the border that their properties are being affected, their livelihoods. We have property owners that are losing their own livelihood because this administration has decided that they are not important enough. And we've been seeing how these business owners, these ranchers, these property owners are taking the brunt of an administration who refuses to do its job. And right now we're here to stand with Arizonans, with these brave Arizonans that are asking for help, that are asking for can you imagine, we live in a time right now where citizens of this country have to ask their government to do their job. The number one job is to protect our citizens. And this administration not only refuses to, but in fact is siding with the opposition, with cartels and non-citizens instead of protecting our precious citizens. So we're here, we're grateful for groups like the America Project who have decided to stand with these concerned citizens, and not just concerned, but hurting and suffering citizens, to ask the federal government to do its job. We are here on behalf of Arizona citizens and other legislators as well, that we are here to say enough is enough. We need the federal government to step up. We need this administration to choose Arizonans, to choose American citizens over cartels and over non-citizens as well. And we will continue to stand with our citizens. We'll continue to stand with Arizonans until we see this made right. Thank you.
Good morning, I'm Carl Johnson. I work at the America Project. Just have a few words. What we do at the America Project is we take these cases, we take these prevailing issues along our border seriously. And it is an honor for us to resource, to help with these lawsuits. There are many of them. This one here in Arizona is just the beginning. What you're going to see is the faces of these lawsuits, which is the most important thing. These are American citizens like me, like you, native Arizonans like me, like you. There'll be native Texans, New Mexicans, and Californians who have the same social contract violated. We're simply asking and compelling the government to do its job. In this case, we're looking out for citizens because that's what it's come down to. This is a fight for this country, more importantly, the people who live on the border, in the mobility corridors, or in the affected areas first. We're going to address that. Then we're going to go on and address upstream from there and talk about the effects of a porous border and the lack of enforcement happens to other states that aren't border states.
This isn't just an Arizona problem, a Texas problem. Every state's a border state. Yes. Fentanyl is making it into every city, town, and state across this country. I don't think it's hardly any American who does know somebody's been affected by fentanyl. Fentanyl is making it into every town, city, and state. Stone cold fact. The terrorism issue is a big issue. If they arrested 115, how many haven't they arrested? Border Patrol has arrested people from 141 different countries. Many of these countries are sponsors of terrorism. If you don't think a single one of the 1 million gotaways didn't come from a country that sponsors terrorism, then you're not looking at the data. This is a serious issue with this country. Over 1,400 migrants have died on U.S. soil since Joe Biden became president, a record by far. Don't tell me his policies are more humane than President Trump's. Simply not true. More migrants have died during this administration than any administration I can remember. I've done this for 35 years. Tonight, a child will drown in the river. As we're speaking, a female is being sexually assaulted by the cartels. 31% of women that make that journey through the cartels get sexually assaulted. So if you don't think this affects you, and regardless of what your opinion is on illegal migration, this is much bigger than that now. People are dying, women are being sexually assaulted, babies are drowning in the river, and known and suspected terrorists have gotten into this country. That's just a stone cold fact. I don't know how many. Someday we're going to find out. It's going to be a bad day for this country.